The meeting of the City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, to be held October 3rd, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Council Chambers building. First up is roll call.
Councilmember DeWillis.
Here.
Councilwoman Duvernay.
Here.
Councilmember Crott.
Present.
Councilmember Palasari.
Here.
Vice Mayor Weldon.
Here.
And Mayor Linsky.
Here. Thank you. Please stand to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next is a brief summary of current events by the mayor, city council, and/or city manager. The public body does not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take legal action on any matter brought up during the summary unless the specific matter is properly noticed for legal action. Council members, do we have anything to report? No? Okay. I've got a handful of things here. It's been a busy couple weeks. Just to share with council, we had the second strategic planning session with the Verde Front last week. Verde Front's an organization that's made up, it's a collaborative that's made up of land management agencies, all the city councils, supervisors, and the respective staff that really focuses on recreation on the Verde. So anyway, we kind of want to decide what we want to be when we grow up. So we had a strategic planning session that we started pre-COVID, and now we're picking that effort up. And anyway, we've been around for a long time, since I think '06. This was something that Diane Jones started a lot of years ago, patterned after what was going on up in Colorado around Ground Junction. So anyway, it's a good organization, and I'm pleased to see that that's moving forward. We met with Dignity Health here recently. Councilmember Crott, DeWillis, myself, with the city manager, met with Dignity Health. They wanted to speak with us to find out what some of the needs are in our community, and they may be looking at offering some very limited services here in the area, but there's more to come on that. And then I had the honor of going down to Phoenix with a couple members of city staff to sign the Sister City agreement with Mazatlan, Sonora. So as council is aware, we signed on to a Sister City agreement. I'm pretty excited about that. I got to meet the mayor of Mazatlan, Rogelio Esquez, who's like now my best friend. Good guy. Gave me a lot of cheese. They make 2,500 pounds of cheese in Mazatlan daily. So anyway, we're looking to do hopefully kind of a youth program where we get the, he wants to bring up baseball. So Little League Baseball to come up from Sonora and play with us up here in Cottonwood. So more to come on that as well. I think it's a great opportunity to work with the Mazatlan. Merkin ribbon cutting. Mr. Douglas was there, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Palasari, I think others, were you? No, you were not there. Anyway, it was amazing. Great facility. Beautiful evening. Really pleased to see that everything kind of went off without a hitch up there. So if you have a chance, head up on top of the hill. It's a wonderful view. And then last but not least, two proclamations over the weekend. Verde River Day. This program's been going on for 32 years, I think, at this point. You know, celebrates the Verde River, gets all of our nonprofits together that do work to support the Verde River, so I was able to read a proclamation there. And then Clemenceau School celebrated its 100-year anniversary, which is kind of a big deal. So, and they've been educating kids for 100 years here in our community. So got to read a proclamation up there. And Helen Killebrew invited me, and I don't know if you know Helen. She works at the Heritage Museum there, but she's a wonderful, wonderful woman. So get up there and visit her sometime as well. And that's all I have. Mr. Douglas?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of things. First of all, I think some of you will get a chuckle out of this. I tried the shortcut road, Schneibel Hill Road, between Sedona and I-17, and I learned that that's not a shortcut. Very scenic, though. The couple of things I wanted to mention tonight is the Cottonwood Community Awareness Group. You keep hearing me talk about this almost every meeting. We had the fire chief and one of our captains up there at the last meeting presenting their strategic plan. It was a very informative session. I'd just like to thank our chief and the department for presenting that, and for the community members that came out. We had a great discussion after that as well. And then the second thing is tomorrow night, you guys may or may not know this, but Cottonwood's National Night Out. We are actually meeting tomorrow between 4:30 and 7 p.m. So come on out to at the Cottonwood Kids Park. There's going to be lots of activities out there. food and so on. Lots of exhibits that you can visit. And that's at 350 South 12th Street. So invite all of you to come out tomorrow.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up on the agenda is call to the public. This portion of the agenda is set aside for the public to address the council regarding an item that is not listed on the agenda for discussion. However, the council cannot engage in discussion regarding any item that is not officially listed on the agenda for discussion and/or action, and comments are limited to a 3-minute time period. So I'll call folks up and queue up the next individual to speak after our first guest comes up to the podium, and that would be Shaida Sina. You're up first, and you'll be followed by Savannah Sanders. And I apologize if I'm getting your name wrong.
This is about the Cottonwood slag disbursement. My name is Dr. Sina. I'm a concerned physician who is a primary care provider with a specialty in environmental medicine. I've been practicing in the Verde Valley for over 20 years. MRI put a processing plant in Cottonwood around 2014. There has never been phase 2 environmental assessment since it began processing. In June of this year, one of my colleagues contacted me concerned and asked if I had seen more cancer and autoimmune. I told him around 2015, I began to see a shift. That was when I learned about the reprocessing. The following day, I attended a meeting at my colleague's office and was given a sample of what was contaminating one of his patients' place of business, which was next to the VFW. As I began to investigate the situation, I realized the material is considered fine, ultrafine particles, less than 2.5 microns. Breathing in such contaminants can cause upper airway illness, lung scarring, asthma, and even cancer. That was assuming we were only dealing with iron silica. I decided to send the sample of black dust, which was collected by a magnet, to the lab that I send for heavy metal testing. The results showed iron, zinc, aluminum, arsenic, lead, copper, in that order. Statistics from DHS by county in 2020 of cause of death showed Yavapai County the second highest in overall cancers for women, the second highest overall for prostate cancer for males, highest for Alzheimer's in the state of Arizona for males. We as a community need to become proactive and stop dispersing copper slag dust as soon as possible. We need studies on air, stormwater, and soil. Community education should begin by notifying medical providers to begin to test patients and be cognizant of metal toxicity as a diagnosis. Metal toxicity is usually a diagnosis of exclusion. I request that funds from MRI paid to the City of Cottonwood be used to hire an independent environmental group to assess along with ADEQ and come up with remediation plans. Until then, MRI should cease to process. I request a special hearing about MRI and the contamination as soon as possible. I would like to be included in the hearing. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, Dr. Sina. Savannah Sanders, you're up next. You'll be followed by Molly Heckman.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the Cottonwood City Council. My name is Savannah Sanders, and I'm the Executive Director of Applejacks Ranch. Today I come before you not just as the head of an organization, but someone who deeply understands the nuances of human trafficking and have lived those challenges myself. Applejacks Ranch has been awarded the an OVC grant focusing on trafficking prevention here in the Verde Valley. We got a $500,000 grant to be able to provide services here, starting in the Verde Valley and then expanding to the rest of the Yavapai County throughout the 3 years of the grant. From my personal journey, I've learned that prevention starts with awareness and it begins within the heart of the community. Our intentions with this grant is to create community-centric education to ensure residents know the signs and understand the risk and feel empowered to be part of the solution, and strengthening community bonds. Traffickers often exploit gaps in community. By collaboration with local organizations, schools, and businesses, we're aiming to bridge these gaps. I'm extending an invitation to all of you to join hands with us to ensure that trafficking is not happening in this area. We are focused on all aspects of human trafficking. Sex trafficking and labor trafficking are underreported in rural counties. Youth who have experienced homelessness, runaway, have been involved in child welfare systems or the juvenile justice systems are at very high risk, but so are kids that have experienced undisclosed sexual abuse, all sorts of things that can be happening within their family systems, and familial trafficking is something that is happening here in our community. This has been a 15-year dream for me to be able to provide services and be able to do it in a rural community. I grew up in a small town, and the reason that I was trafficked was because of a lot of the risk factors from being in a small town and isolated and all of those things. But we also have a huge community that's doing all sorts of things to support children, and we want to collaborate with everybody to be able to do that, and we're just so honored to be able to announce that we got this huge grant to be able to do that here in this community. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to connecting with anybody that would like to support the project.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. Okay, Molly Heckman, you're up next. You'll be followed by Sharon Bonney.
Hello, my name is Molly Heckman, and I may just be a singular person up here. As you all remember, each one of these tassels on Penny Smith's jacket represents someone here in the community who is an advocate and who is actively watching the decisions that this council is making for a safer, healthier, and happier, more accepting Cottonwood. So thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Bonney, you're up next. You'll be followed by Joseph Giulietti.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the Cottonwood Council Awareness meetings. What I learned there makes me proud of my city. At the last meeting, our city's firefighters spoke about their dedication to our safety. The meetings are the third Tuesdays of the month at 4 p.m. in the library. City Council, will you define the term family-friendly? A drag show can be sexual. The one in April at the clubhouse was more benign. Without you, the City Council, defining family-friendly, a drag show can deteriorate into a sexualized show for children. It would be no issue with an age restriction to adults. Can the children, for example, sit on a drag queen's lap? Can the children watch a drag queen stroke his penis or fake breasts? What does family-friendly mean? Can it mean that? Why do you let a show promoter decide what family-friendly means? Why do you trust that a show promoter will produce content acceptable to children? You've seen the family-friendly drag shows that other U.S. cities allow. They were presented to you at a city council meeting in August. Have you noticed how much sexual content children are being conditioned to in just the last 3 years? In the media, in schools, in the introduction of the topic of puberty blockers to children, in pornographic novels, not nonfiction, fiction, detailing masturbation and sexual acts in the children's section of the Camp Verde Library. It's a new phenomenon in our society that institutions like libraries, schools, local governments are accepting the sexualization of children. Why would the public trust a show promoter's standard for family-friendly? That standard can change all the time. We want to trust our local government's static standard for family-friendly. In conclusion, will you define family-friendly? Because children need adults who are convinced of the value of childhood. Mr. Fred Rogers said that. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Mr. Giulietti, you're up next. You'll be followed by Greg Feldman.
My respect and thanks to the council. please do not allow children at drag shows. Thank you.
Mr. Feldman, you're up next.
Hi, everyone here. My name is Greg Feldman, and I'm here to let all you know that I intend to run for mayor in the next election in 2024. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and decided the big city wasn't for me. And I moved to Flagstaff, lived there for 10 years, and I bought my house here in Cottonwood in 2006. And this is where I call my place home, our home. I found this to be the safest and most beautiful place I've lived in my life. As mayor, I will help to improve the infrastructure and help everyone work together, from the homeless to business owners, with everybody. I want to work on recycling, improving cell service, trails, charging stations, and I want to make Cottonwood more of a tourist destination like it's becoming rather than a sideshow for Sedona, with the wineries and everything growing here. And I want to work with everybody to make the city a better place. And one thing I have to help me out is I have a stepbrother who has a master's degree in urban planning from UCLA. He's been in city management in California with over 20 years experience, and he's going to help me in every way he can to help work with all of you and work together to try and make the city a better place. So that's what I just want to let you know, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll close the floor to the public and move on to approval of the minutes of the regular meetings of May 16 and June 6, 2023, and the special meetings of May 22 and July 11, 2023. All motion to approve those minutes?
Second.
Okay, Mayor made the motion, Vice Mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. We roll into consent agenda next. The following items are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council, will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. We've got 5 items this evening. I'll read them out for the council and public. Item 1 is resolution number 3182, reappointing Lindsay Maston, and resolution 3183, appointing Michael Duvernay to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Item 2 is Walking on Main, request for street closure on November 11, 2023. Item 3 is resolution number 3209, modifying the airport's fiscal year 2023 bipartisan infrastructure legislation grant project list. Item 4 is resolution number 3204, proposed 1-year service agreement extension with the SDR for specified groundskeeping services in an amount not to exceed $60,000. Item 5, resolution number 3208, cooperative use of the Sourcewell contract with Caterpillar Inc. and Empire Southwest LLC, an authorized dealer of Caterpillar Inc. for the procurement and installation of new generators for water and wastewater in an amount not to exceed $603,850. Is there an item that a member of the public or council member would like pulled from the agenda? All right, I'd like to pull item 1 from the agenda. We'll take a vote on items 2 through 5. I'll motion to approve items 2 through 5.
Second.
Mayor made the motion, Councilmember Karat seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, let's have our clerk please read resolution number 3209, 3204, and 3208 by title only, please.
Resolution number 3209, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, approving a modification of the approved fiscal year 2023 bipartisan infrastructure legislation project list for the Cottonwood Municipal Airport. Resolution number 3204, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, authorizing the city manager to execute a 1-year extension of the professional services agreement with Yes, the ARC, an Arizona nonprofit corporation, in an amount not to exceed $60,000. And resolution number 3208, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, authorizing a cooperative use purchasing agreement for the purchase and installation of generators with Empire Southwest LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, in an amount not to exceed $603,850.
Okay, thank you. And then I wanted to pull resolution number 3182 and resolution 3183. If we could just take those separately, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 3182.
Second.
Okay, Mayor made the motion, Vice Mayor seconded it. Do we need a roll call vote, or Probably roll call vote on that. Since I pulled it.
Sorry, Mayor, since you pulled
Okay.
it from consent, yes.
Okay, roll call vote on that one, please.
Okay, Councilmember DeWillis?
Yes.
Councilmember Duvernay?
Yes.
Councilmember Karat?
Yes.
Councilmember Palasari?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilden?
Yes.
And Mayor Linsky?
Yes, thank you.
And the motion carries.
All right, let's have you read that resolution by title only, please.
Resolution number 3182, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Yavapai County, Arizona, reappointing Lindsay Maston, a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and establishing her term of office.
Thank you. And then resolution number 3183 is appointing Michael Duvernay to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I just wanted to pull it, not to make a big deal out of this, but I'm concerned about the conflict of spouses serving on both council and planning and zoning. I think that it's a conflict in that there are times when, one, they serve at our pleasure, and I think there are times when council has to override decisions that the Planning and Zoning Commission makes, and I think that that would be a conflict to do so if your spouse serves on there. So I just wanted to have the opportunity to vote against it, just based on how I feel. Again, not trying to make a stink out of it, and certainly we need to fill our Planning and Zoning Commission, and I understand that. Mr. Duvernay is qualified for that as he has served previously. And that's all.
Well, how would if they were either one recuse themselves? I guess it would have to be. No. I mean, if something came up, that's my point. How would that be? Councilmember Duvernay, or would it be Planning and Zoning Duvernay? How would that?
Well, I mean, it happens from time to time where we have a conflict with our Planning and Zoning Commission,
Right.
where they're the one commission that we give authority to make decisions, that the council doesn't oversee directly. So it's just, but there are times when we have to overturn a decision that they make, and I just feel like I would be conflicted if my spouse served. I can say that, and so I just this is just how I feel. I think it's a conflict. As eager as we are to get our commissions filled up, and I've seen it in other I've seen husband-wife councils that have served on the same council before. I just don't think it's right. I think in the eyes of the public, it just doesn't look good.
Is there something in the rules?
No.
I personally know both of them, and I don't think there's an issue at all. The integrity and the dignity of both of them. Michael is an outstanding person for this job, and I think if worst case scenario, Councilwoman Duvernay, we would probably ask her to recuse herself from a vote that was conflicting. That's my 2 cents.
I'm not speaking anything against his character at all. He's qualified. I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with Derek. Both of them are fine individuals, and I don't think there's a conflict at all, and if there was, I am certain that Councilwoman Duvernay would recuse herself.
I'm torn. Sorry. I'd like to hear from Councilmember Duvernay. Your thoughts?
Well, I would recuse myself. I mean, this has been like a 4-month process, so I guess if I thought there was going to be a conflict, it would have been brought up like 4 months ago before the interview started. I mean, when he applied twice, and then he got appointed, then it got sent back, said, oh no, now the procedure's changing. So I just feel that if there was an issue, and I was very open to it being an issue, that it would have been said many months ago. But I'm more than happy to recuse myself or whatever.
That could potentially be every single meeting. That's
zoning, correct?
Pardon?
Just for the zoning.
Right.
I also think if it's not against the law, then it's not against the law.
But we're not talking about law here. We're talking about what's right.
I don't. I do think we are governed by law as a council.
Well, true, we are, but there's more to it than that when you're that close. I mean, if my mother was on planning and zoning, am I going to argue with my mother? I mean,
Yeah, again, I mean, not
Just
trying to,
following the rules.
not trying to belabor it, just I don't like to get close to nepotism, that's all. And that this is close enough to it, and I just feel like in the eyes of the public, you know, I would like to encourage all to apply, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I don't want folks thinking that they'll get appointed if their spouse serves on council. That's my point.
yeah, I mean,
I actually wasn't involved in any of the appointing stuff. I didn't vote on any of them, on any person.
yeah, right, because we talked about that. I think it depends on what the citizens might think, and who knows?
Well, and this is the reason why I wanted just to call this one item out, and we can vote on it and then move on.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, let's vote on it.
Let's do that. Yeah. Somebody does.
Is it 3182? 3183. I'd like to make a motion. On resolution 3183, appointing Michael Duvernay to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Palisari and a second by Councilmember DeWillis. And a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember DeWillis.
Yes.
Councilmember Duvernay.
Yes.
Councilmember Karat.
Yes.
Councilmember Palisari.
Absolutely.
Vice Mayor Weldon.
No.
And Mayor Linsky.
No. All right, resolution passes. Let's have our clerk read resolution number 3183, please, by title only.
Resolution number 3183, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Yavapai County, Arizona, appointing Michael Duvernay a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission and establishing his term of office.
Okay, thank you. All right, new business. The following items are for council discussion, consideration, and possible legal action. First item is interview of selected candidates for appointment to fill a city council vacancy. Applications were received from the following applicants and were reviewed at a special meeting held October 2nd, 2023. We received applications from Christopher Brown, Jesse Dowling, Carissa Faust, Randall Garrison, James Glasscott, Kent Hellman, Al Hilberger, Michael Matthews, Robert Rothrock, William Wagnon. And last night we discussed those applications and wanted to bring forward 3 of these applicants for interview today. We're going to take them in the order they were just listed. It'll be Carissa Faust, Kent Hellman, and Michael Matthews. Ms. Wilbur?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you mentioned, we were here to interview council applicants. After accepting Councilmember Nairn's resignation, we went through the process to receive applications, in which we received 10. Last night, council reviewed applications and selected 3 to move forward to this evening's interview. All 3 have confirmed that they are
Can you speak more into the mic? I think I'm having a hard time. You got it. Okay.
Sorry, I feel like I'm losing my voice today, so it's a little worse. We do have all 3 applicants that council selected last evening to participate this evening.
Okay.
So they are all here, ready to interview. And unless council has any questions from me, I think we're ready to begin interviewing. I did let the applicants know that when we started this agenda item that we would move the applicants into the lobby so everyone would have a fair shot and not hear everyone else's answers ahead of time for this position.
Okay, sounds good. And so for those in the public, you're more than welcome to stick around for the interviews. What's likely going to happen after we're done conducting the 3 interviews is we'll probably go have a discussion in executive session, at which point we'll come out and hopefully make a vote to appoint by resolution our newest council member. So there will be a time when we're away, but you're more than welcome to stick around, and we'll be back out as quickly as we can. So do you want to usher those other applicants off, and we'll start with Carissa Faust?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You can go either way.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Carissa Faust. I do like to go by Nell.
All right, I'm going to call you Ms. Faust.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your application. Thanks for being here this evening. We're going to ask you 8 questions.
All right.
And take your time. And appreciate, again, your willingness to serve. So first up, why do you want to be appointed to the City Council, and what have you done to learn about current city issues and council decisions?
So I would like to, or I aspire to join the Cottonwood City Council because I believe in the collective power of our community to better the quality of life of our citizens. I have recently been more involved in city council meetings to get more up to snuff on what's going on in the city, and I believe that I would be a good team member. I like to focus on my skill set, which is really advocating for youth. I currently am an intake manager for an organization that helps youth get permanent housing and shelter if they are homeless. I also run their mentorship program that focuses on helping them to understand their quality of life and what that means to them, which helps them to understand their worthiness, and it helps them direct themselves towards the goals they want to achieve for their life. I believe that the city of Cottonwood could also do really well with programs like that. I've also just accepted a position with Applejack's Ranch as the prevention specialist to help with their anti-trafficking projects. And I believe that that is a crucial part of what's going on in the city of Cottonwood is youth and young people issues. And that is my experience and skill set.
Okay. Okay, second question. Discuss your prior experience working with Cottonwood community nonprofits and volunteer organizations. Please include any experience in an elected or appointed position on these boards or commissions.
I've never been elected, and I've never been a paid part of the city of Cottonwood. I moved here when I was 7, and I grew up in Cottonwood, and I started volunteering for the city of Cottonwood when I was a teenager, and every year I kept the score for the basketball teams, and I volunteered for the Easter egg hunts every year, volunteered for the fall festivals. I was very active part of setting those things up, and being involved in that kind of work was very special to me because I've always been interested in youth issues and keeping youth busy in healthy, active ways in the community.
Okay. What qualities do you possess that you feel would be an asset to the current council?
I am really good at delegating and prioritizing. I would say my skill set is mostly in communications. I am wonderful at drafting emails and connecting to people face to face over the phone. I do a lot of networking in my positions, in my work, and in my daily life. So I would say that building bridges and being open-minded and listening to people and what they need and really hearing what they're wanting to accomplish for themselves, for their families, and for the city is an extraordinary part of this work that y'all do. And I think that I have really good skills in that area. I am really great at mentoring, guiding, and directing families and youth to find success.
Okay. What are 3 opportunities in economic development for the city?
You know, one of my personal strengths is probably in networking for homelessness, and I do a lot of work in or I have done a lot of work in volunteering for like food shelves, and we used to have a Bountiful Baskets here in the city of Cottonwood, and I would really like to see that come back. I work with them a lot in my homelessness organizations in Minnesota, and we have helped develop programs where the Bountiful Baskets creates networks for the needy in the community, and they do reoccurring deliveries every week to people that don't have transportation or people that really just can't make it out of their house. There's single mothers that struggle to get out, that get to connect to resources, and I would really like to see programs like that. I would also like to engage in programs that are already occurring and connect them and make it more widespread and more efficient.
Okay. What do you perceive as the 3 most important concerns facing Cottonwood? And please discuss your role in addressing these concerns.
I've heard a lot of families say there's not a lot to do in the city of Cottonwood. I've seen a lot of things that people can get involved in, but I think it would be great if we were able to, like maybe through Applejack's Ranch, start facilitating educational events for schools, for churches, for even maybe the fire department, the police department, getting them involved in having events for families. And we can have educational pieces about anti-trafficking work, give them opportunities to be involved in the food shelves, Bountiful Baskets, get them connected as a family and outreach to the community. I believe that we could even do events at the skate park and get more interaction at the skate park that would be healthier and more active, because I see a lot of kids there. My kids go there almost every day. And it's great to see the kind of community that the children are building themselves. And I think we could really get more active in that. And we could get creative on how to do that, how to reach out to those kids and how to reach out to their families.
Okay. And then what is your familiarity with the council's strategic plan?
I'd have to say that I don't know much about that, to be honest, because I don't have any previous experience being on councils. This is my first go at this. So
That's
I'm
okay.
ready to learn, and I think that's one of my other great skill sets is learning.
Okay. All right. Just 2 more.
All right.
What would you like to change or see the council accomplish or work on in the near future?
Does city lighting and streets have to do with that?
It does, yes.
So I live across from the public library, and sometimes I walk my dog there in the evening. It is so dark over there. And it's like Garrison Park area, the library, and it's connected right there to the Parks and Recreation. And there's a lot of things that go on around there, like the tennis and stuff happens like almost every night. People are there hanging out. I thought it would be a great place to walk my dog in the evening. It is not. It is not very safe. And I really feel that it has to do with lighting. And I would have to say that our streets need attention.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I think that's been an issue for a long time.
Yes, it has. And then last question, do you intend on running for council during the next election cycle?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, that's fair.
To be honest.
You have time to decide yet. Okay, well, that's it
Right.
for our question. Any follow-up questions from council? No? Okay. Thank you
right.
for your
Thank
application.
you.
Appreciate it very much. Mr. Hell, yep. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you for your application. We appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you for considering my application.
Certainly.
Appreciate it.
We've looked it over, we've read your application, and we wanted to bring you in to ask you 8 questions.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and jump right in. Is that good with you? Okay. So first up, Mr. Hellman, why do you want to be appointed to the City Council, and what have you done to learn about current city issues and council decisions?
Well, the reason I want to is pretty much civic duty. It's not because I feel as if I have some burning desire to accomplish something in the sense that I have a personal gain of sort, such as I need my road in front of my house paved, so I'll get on the city council and get the good word in for my personal pet project. More, my desire is just to be part of a team who is looking for doing what is best for the community of Cottonwood. And we've lived here for 23 years now, and we've seen the progress of Cottonwood. We've watched a lot of the politics that go on, and have been involved with different boards, been with the Board of Adjustment when they first came out with that, and then also with the Public Service Retirement System for Fire and Police Department currently. Most of my volunteer work has been associated with Camp Verde, and that's because of my wife's position as the library director for the Camp Verde Library. And so basically there's watching the community in the sense of seeing what issues are coming up and trying to stay in tune with what those things are and trying to get what information I can, communicating that with neighbors, with people that I associate with, and just basically trying to stay on top of what's happening. It's not as if we live in a cave. Things that are going on in the community affect us, and so we try to stay aware of it. With my wife's position in the Camp Verde, it keeps us involved with things that are going on in the Verde Valley as a whole. And Cottonwood being the largest city in essence because of revenue and the budget that we have to deal with, it is a major factor in the Verde Valley, and it can be a trendsetter. It can be very influential in the Verde Valley as a whole. So my desire is to be a part of that, not to do something that's going to gain attention to me or to anybody that I might be associated with. It's my desire just to serve.
Okay, great. Second question is discuss your prior experience working with Cottonwood community nonprofits and volunteer organizations. Please include any experience in an elected or appointed position on these boards and commissions. And I know you've answered a lot of that, but if you want to kind of expand on any of that, please feel free to.
It's pretty much the same as I just said. Those were the 2 different boards that I was a part of, or still am, with the Public Service Retirement System. As far as community activities and things of that nature, I worked for Yavapai College as a police officer for 20 years and retired from Yavapai College as a police officer. So there's a lot of community activity associated with that position also, and not just with Cottonwood, because technically the college is in Clarkdale, but we were involved in a lot of things community-wise. And I've since been retired now for 7 years and free to actually participate in a way that I hadn't been able to really while being employed. The freedom of being retired, having my wife still working, gives me a lot of ability to be involved. And anyway, but because of my wife's position, as I said, a lot of my civic activities have been involved with Camp Verde, helping out with her with the library. I am a Camp Verde Library volunteer. I have a very unique experience as a volunteer for the Camp Verde Library, doing a lot of special projects for my wife. As they built that new library, I was very involved with bringing in a lot of the things that they needed to be able to complete the library. I was involved with putting in shelving, putting in cabinets, built cabinets. My wife's office furniture, I built all the furniture that are in there. I've built cabinets for their display section. I've done a lot of work. It's been mostly just completely out of pocket, but it's just strictly to help my wife in her situation with her job, and support her every way I possibly can.
Okay, great. And then, Mr. Hellman, what qualities do you possess that you feel would be an asset to the current council?
I think my life experiences are key to what I would bring to the council, and I have 20 years in law enforcement. As I worked for Yavapai College. When I started working for them, they put me through the police academy, and that was pretty much the first year that I started working for them. And I also have 20 years of actual duty in the military with a 20-year retirement, but that military expanded from 1974 until 2008, in and out of active duty, in and out of the National Guard, Arizona National Guard, and serving overseas during Iraqi Operation Freedom. And the experiences that I had in the military, the experiences I had in law enforcement, and also I spent 12 years as a businessman before I ever went worked for Yavapai College. I owned a cabinet business, was a partnership with several brothers, and over a period of time, my 3 other brothers left the business, and I became the last man standing. But through that experience, I learned a lot about business, a lot about interacting with people, working with government, fulfilling the obligation tax-wise, because governments really love to have their taxes collected, and they look to us to do that. And so with those experiences, I think especially with law enforcement, my military experience, it's coming to a situation where I have to check my biases when I'm confronted with a situation. I can't come into a law enforcement experience or a military experience with a prejudice that would direct the choices that I would make, but rather try to maintain an open mind, because I can't come up with the right answers or to a conclusion without weighing all the factors involved in a investment or an investigation, or in the case of a military conflict. You have to be able to have a clear mind, and if your biases interfere with your choices of direction that you go, it influences the outcome. And it's important, it's always been important in my life, not to influence the outcome, but rather be a part of the outcome in the sense that have a choice to, or ability to make a clear choice that goes in a direction that has right in its emphasis, not going off on a tangent, not being influenced by my personal biases. So anyway, that's what I think I believe to the council would be an open mind, being able to check those biases at the door, and come prepared to be a part of a team that looks towards the choices that will affect the community that I live in, and hopefully in a very positive and direct way.
Okay, great. The next question is, what are 3 opportunities for economic development in the city? 3 opportunities for economic development in the city.
Three opportunities for economic development in the city. Obviously, the development of homes, especially with homes that are geared around low-income people's, an opportunity to expand a need within the Cottonwood area. I do believe we have a need. Cottonwood is unique in the Verde Valley in the sense that because of the assets that we have here, it becomes a critical hub for other cities, especially places like Sedona, to be able to work in a place where they can, or live in a place where they can afford it, and work in a place that they can't afford to live in. And so Cottonwood has that opportunity, I would think, to expand those areas. And they would be economic. Just when you bring in people, there's an increase in tax revenue that comes through all aspects of purchasing and even just the building part, permits. There's so many different things that can be affected to the benefit of the city. And then there's, because of Cottonwood's unique situation as far as location in the Verde Valley, there's, I believe, a desire on the part of large industries to want to come to this area because of the infrastructure that's already present, which gives Cottonwood an advantage. And so I think reaching out to different types of industries, it would be very beneficial. And of course, Cottonwood right now has a very large population of people who are retired. And with that comes the service industry. So there's a lot of opportunities there for small businesses to come and set up shop to be able to service the retirement people that are coming into the Verde Valley, or into Cottonwood in particular.
Okay. All right, and the next question is, what do you perceive as the three most important concerns facing Cottonwood, and discuss your role in addressing those concerns?
Water is one of our main issues, I think. And of course, another major issue would be the conflict that's going on right now. And because of my situation with my wife and her position in Camp Verde, we've been involved in some of the turmoil that has been going on. And being there to support my wife in her position, one of the things that we have done, just this last weekend, we went to a state town hall down in the Phoenix area, Tempe actually, in the Rio Salado College. And it was a great experience, but the goal was to bridge the gap of the conflicts that are facing, it's not just, we look at it as being a national issue, but it has become down to the local community issues. And so it's starting to affect us. It was different when you could watch the news and you see some of the stuff going on that you think, well, I'm glad it's not here. At least we can have the safety and security in our own little community. But it's hitting home here too. And anyway, that was one of the reasons we went to this town hall, to hopefully get some tools, get some ideas as to how to go about bridging that gap, which is what the emphasis was bridging that gap between sides, the division that's being created, trying to find resolutions, solutions to the conflict, so that we as a small community, in essence, can go about doing the business of the community, opposed to spending so much time battling over issues that are very partisan and very difficult in the sense that they bring a lot of hurtful attitudes and statements, and just overall, I think it's just a very divisive problem. But that was something that, because of my situation with my wife, it is a concern, and I would like to see us get past that, be able to move forward, go in a direction that really does bring up the issues that are important to Cottonwood, such as growth, small homes, affordable home housing. All these different types of issues are very important. So anyway, those are my bigger concerns.
Okay. Okay, and then question 6 is, what is your familiarity with the council's strategic plan?
It's been a while since I've read it, but I have read it. Matter of fact, last time I was considered doing this, I went through that plan very thoroughly, but on the top of my head, I can't say that I can pinpoint any particular emphasis within that plan, but I have read it, I know it's there, and I do agree with it. I think the plan is a good plan, but again, I can't give you any details about it.
Okay. And then last 2 questions. what would you like to change or see the council accomplish or work on in the near future?
Well, as far as changing, again, it comes back to bridging the gap, I think. That's short term of change, getting past some of the conflict that exists right now and getting to the point of being able to deal with the issues that need to be dealt with that benefit all of the community. And as far as change, I know there's things within that strategic plan that need to be accomplished. Again, I can't quote to you the particulars because I didn't read it here late. It's been a few years since I've gone over it. But I know there's a lot of issues and there's time frames of those issues and need to be continuing to go forward with it. And I think as a plan and as a city, we have been making progress towards fulfilling that requirement, that obligation that was set forth by the city as a whole, as far as putting together this strategic plan.
Great. Great. And then the last question is, do you intend on running for council during the next election cycle?
That is my intent currently.
Okay.
6 months from now, 8 months from now, who knows? But I'm not taking this with the intent of filling 12 months of open space and then bailing.
Right.
My idea would be to get my foot in the door and be able to go forward, provided everything goes well. Who knows for sure what the future holds, but
Right.
that's my intent.
All right. Very good, Mr. Hillman. Any follow-up questions from council? No? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate your application and your time.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we're going to take a 2-minute break. Okay. Yeah, you bet.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. It's been a long time since I've stood here.
Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First question is, why do you want to be appointed to the city council, and what have you done to learn about current city issues and council decisions?
Why I want to is I've had a great number of people ask me when Tosca resigned if I would consider taking her seat. And I considered it, and I saw some good candidates there, and we'd talked about that. And so I waited. When Jackie basically announced she was going to leave, I had a lot of people reach out. A lot of people from the business community, from the city, residents, overwhelming, very encouraging. So a lot of soul searching, a lot of thinking. I never went away. I've been watching. So the last several months, I haven't necessarily regretted not being on council. It's been interesting. But I started back in 2016. 2 years prior to being elected in 2018, I came to every council meeting. I researched several things. I mean, I dove in real deep to make sure that I was ready. Served 4 years on council. Never really left. I've been watching, reading, I kind of hooked on it. Kind of a geek that way. So I'm still up to speed on everything that's happening.
Okay, great. And the second question is, discuss your prior experience working with Cottonwood community nonprofits and volunteer organizations. Please include any experience in an elected or appointed position on these boards and commissions.
I think I started out delivering Meals on Wheels for the Senior Center with Elaine. Did that for, I don't know, a year and a half, something like that. I also volunteered with Habitat for Humanity, and we were building wheelchair ramps for people in the Verde Valley. They couldn't afford to have them installed commercially. And I was on their CHIRP program, helped out with critical home repair, again, for people who just couldn't pay to have their home repaired. So.
Okay. And then what qualities do you possess that you feel would be an asset to the current council?
Well, like when I came on, as you know, my purpose was to come alongside you. There were issues you wanted to solve within the city. I saw those same issues, and basically I didn't want to come on, really. I wanted to support a candidate. As you know, there are no candidates all the time. So I figured if I feel that strongly about it, I should step up and do something about it myself. Come on, and I think we did very well. We moved things along quickly. We brought the city basically from the brink financially and restored the city's financial coffers quite successfully. Very impressive. I haven't worked in a teamwork situation like that since I was in the Air Force working fighter squadrons. It is an amazing experience. Really, really, really good people, and it was a phenomenal council, every one of them. So we got a lot done. Didn't always agree, but for the most part, we almost always agreed on things and had the same general direction we wanted the city to go. So it was great. It's very rewarding.
Okay, and then what are 3 opportunities for economic development in the city?
It's doing pretty good. I've been up at Maynard's place the last couple of days. It's very nice. I think the city has that vision that was created when Ron was here, and the city plan, the general plan, and I think it's great. So I think we just keep moving forward with that, and with that plan, trying to find the right housing projects and encourage those, looking at them carefully. I know it's a big contentious issue in town. We need housing, we need development. At the same time, we need to make sure it's done well. So, and I think the city's done a pretty good job of it.
Okay. And then what do you perceive as the 3 most important concerns facing Cottonwood, and discuss your role in addressing these concerns?
Growth. A lot of people are getting agitated, are a little disappointed with the growth, and it's just a matter of getting the word out there. So growth is one thing, continued financial stability, and I know if there's any way to do it, housing. I know it's really difficult to hire employees. It's hard to recruit people from outside the valley because it's terribly expensive to live here. So the balancing act between those three, very important.
Okay. And then sixth question, sir, what is your familiarity with the council's strategic plan?
Well, probably not a lot different than the one I helped create, so very familiar with it.
Okay. And then seventh question is, what would you like to change or see the council accomplish or work on in the near future?
I know the City Hall issue is a big deal right now, and we worked on that. And before my tenure, that was a contentious issue. So I'd like to see something done with that. We'd like to figure out what the city's going to do, where those people are going to go.
Okay. And then last question. I'm sorry, say it again.
Consolidation.
Consolidation, okay. Last question is, do you intend on running for council during the next election cycle?
I've committed to doing that already. So I do intend. I'm willing to commit at least the next 5 years.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any follow-up questions, council, for Mr. Matthews?
Nope.
No. Thank you for your application. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, council, so I'd like to go ahead and move into executive session if we could. Does that sound good to the rest of us? Okay, let's go ahead. I'll make a motion then to go into executive session.
Second.
Mayor made the motion, Councilmember DeWillis seconded it. All in favor? Aye. All right, so folks, we're going to head in the back room and have a discussion. We could be in there for 10 minutes, could be in there for 20 minutes. I'm not exactly sure, but when we come out, we hope to make a motion to appoint our newest council member. Okay, so stick around, please.